It is wonderful to be with you, everyone. My name is Amy, and I'm excited for the show today. Let's hope that we have some great sightings. Here we are starting off in Botswana with some elephants that are cooling off, having a drink. There's a few impalas there on the right hand side as well, and who knows what else we are going to see. Now remember everyone that this is a live and interactive show, so please do chat to me. We've been having some great chats. You all have sent through wonderful comments and questions over the last few days, so I'd love for that to continue today as well as tomorrow while I'm with you. And yes, it can be anything really that you'd like to ask me. Of course, whether it has something to do with what we're looking at the waterholes, if anything comes to mind that you'd like to know. Otherwise, anything else that you may want to comment on or ask any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Well, Eric, you are asking me which is the largest elephant that I have ever seen, and I have seen some very big elephants. It's difficult to say which one has been the largest because unless they're together, you don't actually know which one was the bigger one. But the sighting that stands out to me is a elephant bull with the largest tusks I had ever seen in my life, and that was in the Kruger National Park. We were driving, I think it was between Mopani and Letaba camps, and there's a few little openings with waterholes where the Mopanis get quite short, and this elephant came out and turned his head, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is a proper tusker. And yeah, I mean, he was so relaxed and crossed the road and gave us some beautiful views, but just the thickness and the length of those tusks were unbelievable. So that would be, to me, the largest elephant that I had ever seen. Well, we are going to head over to Oldonyo now. Where we have some very big elephants that like in the East Africa. To very content elephants, and the weather, the sun, the sky, a few clouds around, but nothing serious. Moonlight at Midnight, you're looking forward to today's sightings along the waterholes. Well, so are we. Thank you for joining us. Catherine, hello to you. Skulu's in FC today, so it's great to have him back as well. Lucas, I do think that they can interact quite gently with calves. You know, elephant bulls aren't necessarily always aggressive or looking to cause trouble. I think there can be a gentleness to them, not necessarily an affection or connection with that calf in a fatherly role. They don't have any parental responsibility when it comes to their offspring. That solely lies with the females, but I definitely think it is there has been cases, and I've seen it myself, with the bull sort of sniffing a little calf, or the calf standing very close to a large bull, and them interacting quite sweetly with one another. let's head over to the lovely founders. Well, this is great. We are being spoiled with rhinos here at Founders, and this looks like a little family outing to the waterhole to cool off. Apparently quite dry and hot in the Cape at the moment, so it does make sense that the animals are wanting to cool off. It's always cute to see a mom and baby together like this, and I love little rhinos are just the cutest thing. Tennis, you asking if it looks like Sandringham is going to rain out for the week. Tennis, so according to the forecasts, yes, it does. So yeah, it's crazy, the amount of rain that's fallen, hundreds of mils. I would say at least definitely over 100 yesterday and over 100 again today, and it will be probably closer to 200 by midnight tonight, or let's say tomorrow morning. And the thing is now, which becomes so dangerous, is that everything is saturated with water in the low veld. So everything that's falling now is just pure runoff and building the rivers to be higher and higher. And so even by the time it clears towards the end of the week, it's forecasted that Sunday is actually going to be quite a warm day. I don't even know what condition the reserves are going to be in, not only for Sandringham but for the whole area, all of the different reserves and properties, just because of how severely rivers flood, what's going to be underwater, if bridges are able to be passed or not. So safety is always first, but yeah, we will be out there as soon as we can be back on drive. Karen, yes, it is perfect, isn't it? A rhino puddle. Very sweet. So Lucas, from my understanding with regards to oxpeckers, it's not something that animals actively seek out in terms of sort of going to their nesting sites or, you know, looking for them, let's say, at all. It's much easier, I suppose, for the oxpeckers to seek out the animals which has their food source than animals needing to sort of seek out the oxpeckers. And yes, they do tolerate them. So it is something that can be somewhat irritating for the animals. We've seen that before. If they sort of go too far up a nostril or peck at too sensitive of a place and begin to irritate the animal, you'll see that sort of head twitch or flicking of the tail or ears or whatever it is to get rid of them, which they still return back, but just perhaps in a different spot. Harper, so yes, white rhinos, rhinos in general do have bad eyesight. In terms of, from what I've heard and even experienced, you can actually see that, especially when you're on foot, in terms of the rhino becoming aware of you through scent and hearing, but not sight, because they sort of looking around. They're not fixed on a particular sort of spot. So yeah, it's probably, I think they can see like clearly within 5 meters, and then once you sort of get to the 10, 20, 30 meter mark, unless there's clear movement, they can't really see any detail. So their hearing and scent is excellent. That is also very true, but they don't sort of just ignore their eyesight because the other senses are stronger. They do have very small eyes and not that great eyesight. Oh, this little one's up. Repositioning maybe? Or is it time to move? Or are you just wanting to bother mom? So yes, it could be possible for calves to get stuck in the water. I would say more so if it was particularly muddy, very clay soil that was deep, and they sort of got stuck in it because they don't have the strength to pull themselves out. So yes, it is possible. I think this little one, is it suckling or attempting to suckle? Seems like it's looking there between mom's back legs.
Join me at Mabula Private Game Reserve from the 10th until the 15th of March 2026 for an exclusive 5 nights for only 6 guests here in the natural, relaxed environment. Explore South Africa's finest reserve here in the Waterberg and enjoy the wildlife and the diverse landscape. Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Whoa. This is action-packed.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favourite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. Over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed colour.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Anyways, the wilderness feeling, the ancient landscapes, the baobabs, the Luvuvu River, but yeah, I think with all of that is also just the incredible birding that one is able to do in that part of the world. So yeah, it sort of blew me away when I went there the first time, and have been back multiple times after that, and every time without a doubt it steals my heart once again. So it's such an incredible part of not only the Kruger but South Africa and the African wilderness in general. So yes, but of course there's lots of special places in the Kruger and yeah, there's a lot of little spots all over that I enjoy visiting, and whether it's staying at Shingwetsi camp or going down to the south with the family, there's beautiful places all over. The Lower Sabi camp with the deck that you look out and you just see so many elephants coming to drink every day, and buffalo herds, and it's beautiful, you know. So it's definitely difficult to sort of choose, but it is, for me, it is the Pafuri area, along sort of between the Luvuvu and Limpopo rivers, that is my favorite. All right, well, we're just going to head over to the Olifants River to have a look at what impact the rains have had on the river. My goodness me, the water is definitely higher than yesterday. I feel like there's a much stronger current as well. I don't know if everyone who was with us yesterday or has been monitoring the cameras frequently would agree with me, but it does seem like there's a very strong current down the center, and more of the branches of the trees in the background there are now sort of touching the water, or in the water, should I say, than before. Wow, you can see an entire tree in the middle and in the back coming down the river. Well, we've come back over here to Founders, everyone, and this little one has had enough milk and is now passing out next to Mom. I love those little feet. Oh my goodness. Very, very cute. Ari, you are asking if Chitwa is the same conditions as Sandringham. Yes, it is. The entire Lowveld really is in the same boat. Excuse the pun. But yeah, so the team there, Eric and Gerrit, who are based at Chitwa and broadcast from the Sabi Sands, they actually now access to the gate, which you access the Sabi Sands from, is the river, Pungwe River. They sent us a photo this morning. It's unbelievable. I mean, you can't pass it. The water's just so high and completely blocking the road. So yes, I think many places with the water continuing to rise and more rain coming, at least for tomorrow and Friday, if not longer, the damage or the condition of the roads and bridges and things are only going to be seen when the water subsides, because you don't know sort of what's happening underneath. So it is always a time for reserve teams as well to get ready, I suppose, prepare for the worst and hope for the best situation, because there will be sort of repairs and maintenance and roadworks that will have to be done to make reserves drivable again, or at least certain parts of the reserves. Roz, it's true. Nature is a scary thing when it shows its power. Whether it is flooding or fire, both can be absolutely devastating. Alright, we're going to head over to Zimbabwe. Well, here we are at Hwange Safari Lodge, and we've got some beautiful impalas that are out in the open. I believe Zimbabwe is also experiencing some rains from the same system, but not quite as intense as the flooding that's coming through sort of the eastern part of South Africa at the moment. Grant, it's true. I mean, after these rains, we're going to have bullfrogs breeding. We're going to have maybe some very special birds coming to the area, like striped crakes and dwarf bitterns. That would be amazing, because you've got this, I mean, the reserves were, all the pans were pretty full already, but now you've got this influx of fresh water, and it has to subside a little bit, because otherwise you've just got water and no other habitats available. So it needs to balance out. But that with some heat, it's going to be a fantastic combination for life to, like you say, explode when that time comes, hopefully sometime next week. Let's head back over to Menoakwena. Erickson, hello, Jumbo to you. You are asking at what age do male elephants become ready for mating? So sexual maturity happens at about the age of 15, sort of mid-teenage years, and then that doesn't necessarily mean that they will actually have the opportunity to mate. It just means that they sexually mature, and that's the age where they start being kicked out of the herd by the females. But later on, sort of maybe 10, 15, 20 years later, is when in sort of an environment where there are other older bulls, more mature, dominant individuals, they're sort of that state of must that they experience, which is sort of a time of heightened testosterone where they're looking specifically to mate with females, is sort of suppressed because they have more dominant individuals in an area, which means that they are not given the opportunity to mate with females. So that must state is not something that they regularly experience, although they can start experiencing signs of it from probably not, I would say not younger than 20 years, probably over 25. And so then they could be mating with females if there's no dominant bull to sort of, hey, don't do that, or I'm stronger than you are, and so they sort of back off. But realistically it would only be 30, 35 years plus that they might get the opportunity to mate with a female. There we go, some fresh dung just being added, and other liquid substances being added to the water hole there. Emma, yes, it can definitely be very peaceful between animals at a water hole. I think it does very much depend on the size of the water hole as to how peaceful things are. The smaller the space, just the more likelihood for any conflict or sort of the irritation, I would say, or personal space being affected would be the word I would use to bring about a reaction from one of the animals, whether it is an elephant, hippo, giraffe, buffalo, rhino. There have been cases recorded of especially actually young bull elephants getting irritated with other species, but even older ones. A classic case is the example at Oldonyo in Kenya, where an elephant basically attack is a strong word, but it did show its not happiness, unhappiness with a giraffe and stabbed it with a tusk, and that giraffe actually died from that injury. But it's, you know, I think the elephant was sort of like, hey, you're too close, get out of here. But the strength of that elephant is so great that, you know, that tusk pierced the giraffe and it died. So it is something that can happen, but in general, at a larger waterhole, especially here, for example, at Menoakwena, there's so much space around everywhere, that it would be quite peaceful, except of course if another animal wants to get to the drinking trough, then that might upset a few ellies along the way. Well, this is adorable. Look at this little one.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Samantha, yes, Tau has become, wow, such a paradise, hasn't it? It looks so lush. You wouldn't believe that this place can become sort of a very barren desert-like area in just a few months' time. we must just keep checking these little black moorhens that are running around in case it's not a lesser moorhen. Quite a rarer bird that does come when rains have come to areas. Carol, yes, I do think the rain can definitely attract as well as flush out species that aren't normally in an area. So some of the waders or water birds that I mentioned, like crakes or moorhens or bitterns that are rare to find, come to areas when rains are there, certain migrants of course. And yes, then there are maybe smaller creatures or rarer creatures that maybe had the rain flood their burrow, for example. So now you have an aardvark that's come out because it can't go to its home. It needs to find a different one, for example. So yes, that can definitely happen. Oh, there's a very new, well, it looks very new, wildebeest calf. 3 of them there. Oh, that one has a very dark face already. Let's head back over to Moela. The scene actually reminds me quite a lot of the Timbavati when it's not in flood. Big open grassy sort of waterway with elephants in it. Mia, so it's interesting with the name blue wildebeest, also called blue gnu's, when their coats are more grey than blue. I agree with you, they definitely are at first glance. When they're in the sun though, they do have a bluish tinge to them, almost like a navy blue, and that is why they have that sort of blue wildebeest name. The gnu part is to do with their actual sound or vocalization that they make. That sounds like they're going gnu, gnu. Roz, in terms of Madikwe escaping the rains, I think they've had a little bit, but they are quite far into the northeast, and so northwest. They have not experienced part of sort of the main part of the system that's moving through eastern South Africa at the moment. Chris, you'd like to know why we hardly see predators at waterholes. So I think it is a combination of different things that cause that to be the case. A lot of the time predators will visit the waterholes when it's quieter, less busy, which is usually at night, but also they are usually active at night most of the time. So a lot of them, not all of them, but for example lions and leopards and hyenas will generally come out and do most of their hunting and feeding and moving around at night time, and the cameras do pick up predators visiting at night, but at least for our show it is sort of in the middle of the day, so generally speaking we don't get as many predator sightings, although we do see some amazing ones from time to time. But the other factor is, Chris, that there's just less predators than there are prey, and that's how everything is kept in balance. So it's important that we don't have so many predators, otherwise everything would be out of balance, with prey species dwindling in numbers and predators overbreeding and populating, and then there's going to be nothing for them to eat, basically, because they're going to put the whole ecosystem out of balance. So that's just a sort of some of the explanations. There's various factors, but those are sort of the main ones as to why we don't see so many predators at the waterhole. Another, at this time of year specifically, is that there's so much water around in most parts where it is the rainy season now. So predators don't even need to come to the waterholes. I mean, my last sighting of lions I had at Sandringham, they simply lapped up a pool in the middle of the road, and that was enough for them. They didn't need to do anything else. So that also means in summer that they don't need to come to sort of specific waterholes to drink. Let's head over to Old Donwell. I see a warthog there moving past in the background. Wyatt, yes. Habitat corridors or wildlife corridors that connect reserves through certain sections that are opened up for wildlife to move through are so important and vital to sort of keeping populations healthy and avoiding things like bottlenecking, which I believe Steve has been discussing during the live drives, limited genetic variation that can cause issues in terms of disease resistance, infertility, a lot of different factors. So wildlife corridors, not only with elephant populations but various other animals as well. Suni, yes, that is wonderful news with a wildlife overpass in Colorado. I was fortunate enough to visit Canada, and near the Rocky Mountains they've got these overpasses, and it's incredible actually to see where wildlife can cross over basically the highways without being injured and risking being sort of hit by cars and things like that, because of course they can cause serious damage. Oliver, when it comes to man-made corridors, or sort of, let's say, that certain conservation organizations or management teams, especially, often these corridors cross over country borders. So there's different sort of organizations or government organizations that have to work together or agree on certain things in order to open up that corridor. And it's not always easy. And there can be problems with, protection of that corridor, whether it's fences that have to be maintained, certain, community considerations. So these are all the very real issues that have to be faced and are constantly faced in the world of conservation today, all over Africa. And so, yes, there can be problems caused by, if you want to call it, man-made corridors. And that is something that is constantly being worked on to try and give animals a greater area or a link between large wild areas so that they can move and populations can mix. Let's head back over to Founders. Wow, well, we are being spoiled here today. This is a great view of these rhinos. And there's also some zebra and a springbok in the background. Wow, there's a little baby zebra following mom, I'm sure. Alright, well, we have had to come over here back to Botswana, but that's okay. There's a beautiful elephant here having a little munch. Such a pretty scene. I love the colors of the grass. Well, that is just beautiful, isn't it, everybody? My goodness me, with this elephant now. You can see it's got a little bit of a spring in its step. It must be heading towards some water. Or it was downhill and just picked up some momentum. But often that's sort of the swagger they get when they have an idea of where they want to head to. Alright, well, we are going to head back up to Kenya. I think this is a different eddy, just based on the tusks, and it's clear that he's come here to cool off today. Oh, blow some bubbles too.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba in the two cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
Oh, I think he might do some dust bathing right here. So elephants often do this because the dust or sand sticks really nicely to where they've thrown the water. Creates a little bit of a paste, and I think it also feels quite nice. Alright, well, that Ellie has moved off, but let's head over to Tao. Okay, well, it's not only the Lowveld that's had rain. Let's go look at Tembe in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Well, there it is. That is very much exactly like the rain we've been having the last almost close to a week now. And the system that's coming down sort of from Mozambique into eastern South Africa is now also going to move, as you can see, into northern KwaZulu-Natal and even down from there. So it's a lovely soaking rain, it really is, but there's just been so much of it now. Mia, it's interesting. In very serious heavy rain, almost always we are not out on drive, but of course we do have these waterhole cameras which help to show us what the animals do get up to in heavy rains and things like that. But as far as I know, not really. I think that sort of playfulness and the way elephants behave sort of when it's hot and they're having a pool party is really when it's warm and sunny and they're coming to cool down. Generally when it's raining and they're sort of standing in the bush or feeding and their bodies are getting wet without them having to go and splash around. So I don't know if there's any sort of correlation between that and excited playful behavior. Let's head back over to Menoakwena. Well, these ellies are not going anywhere at the moment. There does seem to be a few less of them than there was before. Alright, well I believe the rain has picked up, so let's head back over to Olifants. Wow, this is unbelievable. It almost looks like it's bubbling up from underneath and not even just flowing. But it's the way the water is sort of moving and different sort of, I suppose, rocks and things that it's flowing and pooling around as the main stream swells over on the side. Let's head back over to Menor. Now, there was a question earlier regarding the floods and animals drowning, and we chatted a little bit about it yesterday. But yes, there is a chance that animals will drown. It is part of the natural world, and unfortunate, of course. And there's many parts of sections of reserves and areas where we wouldn't even know that an animal had drowned, and really only when the carcass washes up or the water subsides then we see that had happened, just because of the huge amount of water, and the carcass wouldn't necessarily float immediately. So it would take a bit of time as well, and by then it could have traveled quite far. So yes, there's always a chance of this happening at these times where flooding does occur. Ali, you are asking why some older elephant bulls remain solitary while others are tolerant of younger males. So it really does depend, and I think the bachelor herd social structure of elephants is one that we can still learn a lot more about in terms of the bulls that are seemingly on their own. They are not necessarily permanent associations either, so you can have a group of bulls that stay together for a number of years, and then you might have a younger one that sort of tries to associate and join them. They might be tolerant of that individual, or you might have one that breaks away. So it is quite let's say dynamic in that way, but there are sort of known groups in some areas. Oh yes, we always see those three together, for example. But it really, I think, depends on the individual. Elephants are social animals from birth, being within a herd, so they do naturally gravitate to sort of be in a group together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they always are. Caleb, yes, I suppose it can happen. When rivers rise very suddenly, or like you say, flash floods, I do think especially elephants are very sensitive to the weather and sort of can sense what's happening and when. And not to say that an elephant's never been caught in a flash flood before, but I do think they move away from drainage lines and rivers and things like that, where they know that it can be potentially dangerous. Kathy, another very interesting question. Does rain create conflict with territorial animals having to move out of flood zones and into other territories? Kathy, I think 100%. I think it can definitely cause territorial issues when animals are forced to go into another dominant individual's area. I think if they were smart and wise, they would keep a very low profile. Let's head back over to Tao. Lovely to have an elephant here too now, having a splash. Alright, well, from one elephant bull to another, let's head over to Old Daniel. Oh wow, everybody, look at this. We have got Mr. One Ton himself. My goodness me, I don't know when last he was seen, but I certainly haven't seen him this year yet, and always special and a privilege to have him appear for us here at the Waterhole show. so it's believed one ton is around the age of 50 or so. Estimated. It does seem to be, he's got a lot of signs of aging to him besides his enormous tusks. He is quite sunken in around the head. He's lost a little bit of body mass in comparison to other sort of bulls in their prime. Leslie, it's interesting. I would definitely think so too, that those tusks are a hindrance, but it's amazing how elephants with tusks like this manage to make it work. Kudus are another example, animals with these huge horns on top of their head. I would say that must get stuck everywhere, but they seem to be able to manage very well. Yeah, Deborah, he's lived a lot of years, lived a lot of life, and the wisdom he must hold, the things that he's seen, it's quite amazing to think about.
Hello, I'm James Hendry, and I'd like to take you on a very different kind of safari through the wild heart of Madagascar. In Undersea, we'll track the Indri's eerie call through misty rainforest. Then it's east on to Masuala, where lemurs leap through the jungle, coral reefs glow beneath the waves, and adventure waits around every bend. Come, let's explore it together.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you will not miss out. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7, and you can even rewind if you have missed out on something. Enjoy the behind-the-scenes video clips as well as fireside chats, or get the early offers on our travel experiences. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Nathan, you want to know if I think he's lonely. I don't think so, Nathan. I think he's lived the life of an elephant from obviously a baby all the way until now, in 50 years or so. And he's not always seen alone. Sometimes he is with other elephant bulls. So I think he's very content to be on his own, and doesn't necessarily feel lonely, but probably enjoys the company of others when it is an option for him. Bill, this is your first sighting of One Ton for the new year, and you are so happy that he's stopped by today. So am I. It really is special to see him, and always puts a smile on my face when he stops by. He's now finished drinking and is starting to do a bit of splashing. Well, I think that this is such a perfect way to end our show today, everybody. Really, I mean, you never know when One Ton's going to show up or when we might see him again, but we might see him for a few days now that he's in the area. But he really is such a magnificent giant. Candice, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad that you enjoyed today's show. I can't believe we are right at the end of it, and it always flies when we're having fun together. Alright, let's head over to the mighty Olifants to end off the show. Well, there we have it, everyone. This is continuing here, and will continue over the next few days or even weeks. It will be interesting to monitor. I'll be back also on the show tomorrow, but also next week, so we'll be able to see what happens with the water levels of these rivers. But thank you so much, everybody, for your comments and questions today. It was lovely to chat to you all, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Keep well. For now, goodbye.